Welcome to Teaching Artist Podcast, a show dedicated to discussions of teaching art to kids, making art, and how those things overlap and feed each other. I'm Rebecca Potts, your host, a visual arts teaching artist. I've got a great interview with a multidisciplinary artist from Ghana. Our website at teachingartistpodcast.com, on our Instagram at teachingartistpodcast, and if you would like to submit your own work to be featured, you can do that on our website at teachingartistpodcast.com/opportunities. Peter Atsu shared how he went from creating shadow theater in his home for the children and families he grew up with, to working on international theater productions, and with ITAC, the International Teaching Artist Collaborative. It was so inspiring hearing how he spread his passion for the arts, not only into schools, churches, and communities throughout Ghana, but also through mentorship of younger teaching artists. He talked about his teaching approach splitting from the school system's top-down methods and empowering students in co-creation. He shared how students respond and become so engaged as that's the approach they've been crying for. Yet it remains challenging to convince schools of the need for both student choice and voice in learning, and for the arts integrated into the school day, a challenge Atsu continues to take on. He also talked about the strain COVID placed on him when his programs were all shut down. He has worked hard to continue teaching via Zoom and has continued creating, saying, "Art is my breath." It was beautiful and heartbreaking hearing how expression through his art forms has helped him cope with the challenges of this time, and how resilient he has been, not only shifting the way he works, but also helping other teaching artists learn to use Zoom and other digital tools. A big challenge has been getting the equipment needed to be able to do this. After we spoke, we actually looked into crowdfunding platforms and are working on setting something up that is available in Ghana but allows donations from all over the world. So I will be sharing links when that is available. In the meantime, you can also reach out to Atsu to support his work directly. Peter Atsu Adaletey is an internationally recognized multidisciplinary teaching artist whose journey began in 1998 at the National Theatre of Ghana. With over 20 years of experience, he has worked with schools, community arts hubs, churches, and corporate and nonprofit organizations. He has contributed immensely to teaching artistry, empowered many children, youth, and artists through art-rich events at the National Theatre of Ghana, including Kidda Fest, theater program for schools, Fun World, and other innovative workshops. And he has used his arts organization, Bright Future Arts Foundation, as a vehicle for promoting arts in education. In 2018, Atsu was selected among global applicants as a fully funded delegate for the 4th International Teaching Artist Conference held in New York. In the same year, he was appointed by the organizers of the Kampala International Theatre Festival as a stage manager for a UK-based award-winning theatre company, Semia Theatre. Unfortunately, he couldn't embrace all of these opportunities due to conflicts. But persistent and deeply dedicated to his passion, he was selected by ITAC as a catalyst. And to open teaching artists in Ghana to opportunities, he established ITAC Ghana, the first international wing of the International Teaching Artists Collaborative. Now he heads as the country director. In 2020, at the 5th International Teaching Artists Conference held in Seoul, South Korea, he was selected as a collective room leader and worked with other resourceful and versatile teaching artists across the world virtually. Now, Atsu is expanding the field of teaching artistry in Ghana by engaging international teaching artists in empowering Ghanaian teaching artists. Atsu's dedication has been acknowledged by UNESCO in the International Arts Education Week. With such an enviable network of teaching artists around the world, Atsu continues to promote the arts in education, offering professional development workshops for teachers and empowering teaching artists and artists to become impactful artpreneurs. Let's hear from Atsu.
I am speaking across oceans with Peter Atsu Adaletey. I'm so excited to hear about your background and your teaching, and I love to start with that background. Could you share your journey with us? How did you get into the art forms that you're involved in? And then also, how did you begin teaching?
First of all, I just want to again thank you for this opportunity. It's been wonderful. I'm so grateful for connecting.
Yes.
And it's good that the world gets to know some of what we do. And that is very inspiring and powerful. So I'm really genuinely grateful for giving me such an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Way back when I was 5, 6 years old, we lived in a compound house. I used to use a cloth and I tie them to 2 poles and I get a lamp and I place the lamp behind the cloth and then I cut out some hard cuts to represent my characters. Then I stay low, kneel behind them, and I use my voice to, portray characters. So I'm able to attract children and even their parents all along in the house, and I entertain them. And I never knew I was doing silhouette or cinema by then. So I could remember that very well. So I was doing that a lot and I used to joke a lot and I used to dance a lot. And I love gathering people, So that was it. I've been like that for years. So when I got to primary school, I was doing dance competitions, in school. And whenever there's entertainment, grade 1, I was reciting a poem. Because my name was Peter, my first poem was Peter Piper. So when I recited that poem, it changed a whole lot of me because the applause that I embraced really empowered me to keep doing what I love doing. It has been on since then. I got to junior high school, got to senior high school. There in senior high school, most of my time, I can say 98% was dedicated to the arts. I was dancing, I was doing drama, I was writing, I was doing comedy right after completing SHS or SSS by then. In 1998, I began my profession, getting to the National Theatre of Ghana, participating in professional theatre productions, events, both volunteer and then corporate. And I've been doing a lot of dancing, a lot of acting, a lot of poetry and comedy and event management and MC then. So it was then in 1998 also that I started roping myself into teaching, teaching the art in churches, in communities, in schools. I used to travel like 4 or 5 hours back to school and other communities to teach. I was introducing the arts in education. I was very active. Teaching artistry actually began in 1998. It was very intense. That was where I really got into the field. I began teaching choreography, that's dance, acting, poetry in churches. And then I extended that in other schools and in the communities. And basically that's where I've been operating much. And then sometimes on the streets as well. And my field has been very much strong in the areas I mentioned, in writing scripts, directing theater productions, working on choreographic pieces, So I'm multi-discipline kind of person. I do what I feel and what I'm empowered to do, and I'm able to function in those areas. So I got more empowered when in 2018 I had a recommendation from James Gibbs, who happens to be my mentor when ITAC had its conference, ITAC 4 in New York. So I got the opportunity. I sent in my proposals and all that, and I got fully funded. That was the good news, but the bad news was that I couldn't travel to New York because of visa complications and all that. And from there,
Ah,
I've been with
yeah.
ITAC. I've never been the same. ITAC has really empowered me. So teaching artistry became more meaningful to me through ITAC 4. And since then, I've never been the same. So that has been a brief journey for me.
Yeah, amazing. And I should say ITAC for people who don't know, that's the International Teaching Artists Collaborative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I look through what ITAC has been doing over the years, I strongly believed in the dream of ITAC. I have a belonging now. Like, I do find fulfillment in what I do. And I realized that no,
Mhm.
why not? I can't wait for ITAC to open branches or establish chapters in Africa. So why don't I extend this positive drive to my people? So I quickly place things down. I mean, work around some communities, and I quietly started introducing ITAC to some teaching artists and artists. And what we do here is that on a very smaller note, I started engaging or empowering teaching artists, letting them understand the dreams or the visions and missions of ITAC. So I have been organizing so many outreach programs for teaching artists, and we go about even schools
Mhm.
to promote the arts and education in schools, because I find it's very important to promote the arts and education in schools and in the communities and churches as well. So ITAC Ghana
Mhm.
is quietly working things out, and I hope to bring it out or unveil it on a bigger platform. But I believe working quietly before getting things out.
Yeah. And they're an international organization that really like the goal, I guess, is to
Yeah,
share research and share best practices
exactly.
among teaching artists, but also kind of get the word out to non-teaching artists that this is a field and this is, like you said, really so beneficial in education.
Yeah.
And what has it been like there? What sort of response do you get from schools and churches and community groups when you say, we need to include more of the arts?
For churches, it's always 100% positive because,
Hmm.
it's not because of the influence I have over them, but it's been there. The only thing is a lifting, is to upgrade or to intensify what goes on. For schools,
Hmm.
very challenging because the arts is
Hmm.
seen as an activity that is outside the wall, so it's difficult breaking through. But you see, the funny thing is that when the school really understands and embraces you and comes for you when they're having their graduations or special programs that needs the art. That's the bitter story for me. I mean, that's what doesn't go well for me. All right. So I believe that
Yeah.
if we or if the schools can incorporate the arts, I mean, that would, I know some countries are doing that, but it's difficult here in Ghana. Here in Ghana, with my personal experience from where I stand, the arts only comes in if they need you for their program, certain, functions, events, So
Hmm.
it's really difficult for them to incorporate, the arts. I've never seen any school accepting my proposal to incorporate. They only need you for events and stuff like that. But I keep talking. I believe that I'll have a breakthrough soon, because I'm soon
Yes.
organizing some outreach program for school owners and school managers very soon.
Yes. Keep at it.
Yeah, the campaign is on. I'm
Yeah.
not resting. I'm not sleeping. I keep working, and I know
Oh,
definitely we'll have a breakthrough.
yeah. And I know, what you're talking about with arts integration, like having art be part of the curriculum and
Yeah,
taught,
yeah,
taught as the regular school subject, but also taught like mixed into the other subjects
yeah.
is what our mutual friend, Pat Cruz, who introduced us, like what she is all about and what she's talked about. Has your work with her helped at all with just figuring out how to talk to the schools and what, I don't know if there's any information or data that she can share that helps with that?
Yeah, Pat is amazing. She's really
Hmm.
amazing. I find myself so blessed to have met Pat. She's so much loaded with resources. Really love what she's been doing. I mean, she's got,
Hmm.
and I'm using some of those resources, but there's more I need to get from her because she's been there.
Hmm.
I mean, she's one person who can help and keep helping with such missions. Yes.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you are working with students, what does that look like? I know maybe it varies a lot because you work in many different art forms and across writing, dance, theater, even sort of the behind the scenes parts of theater production and directing. I guess I'm wondering, what does it look like when you're working with students? Are students really coming up with their own stories and their own ways of telling them, or is it more of a collective creative process? Yeah, or is it more, that you bring it in and they kind of put it all together?
First of all, I have a story to share. Whenever I get to the schools, the school owners or the school administrators always call me in. They call me privately, Peter, how do you do this? So I ask them, how do I do what? All of the kids, they just, when they know you are coming for an art program in a day or two, they are so energetic and my name is all over. My name is flooded. An hour or 12. And I go like, well, so I keep telling them, you see, it means there's something missing in your school. And they keep asking, what is missing? That's what I'm telling you, that the arts is not for fun. You need the arts, you need to integrate the arts. And I keep telling them, if your learners are not really responding wholeheartedly to what you are giving them, it means something is missing. You see, because whatever I teach them or whatever I instruct them to do in the art form, I use what you use, but just that I know how to go around it. Because in dance, in acting, there's maths, there's science, there's everything in the arts, So it means they are crying for me because they love my approach. So you need my approach. This is what I keep telling them. Yeah, so fast forward to your question, it's always been a fulfilling experience for me. I don't believe in preparing. I believe in preparation, but I don't believe in strictly instructing students or learners as what to do when it comes to the arts. I have always believed in co-creation. I always believe that there's always something there that I have not seen. If I always have to create an art piece and present to them to mimic or to imitate, that I have always believed that does not work out well, in the sense that we are not going to help the learners to grow, to be themselves. It means they're always to grow, to copy something, and then they just bring it out, right? So what I believe in that, I always go with a stimulus, or I spark up an idea, and I always empower or provoke them to use their creative means also to put things together. And that has been wonderful. I always co-create with the learners, and it's been wonderful. So I have never ever given anything out 100%. I make sure I put in maybe 20-30% of an idea, and they also pop up some ideas and we work together. You see, this is what allows the learners or those engaged in the art making become very confident. They believe that it is not about Achu coming to tell us what to do, but it's about Achu provoking us or inspiring us to do something that is ingenious, something that he also has believed that we have.
That's beautiful, though. I feel like it's so much more meaningful for students, for anyone participating in an arts program, to have ownership of it and
that is it.
To be encouraged to bring something out of themselves.
That is it.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm so passionate about this aspect of what we are talking about, because you see, unfortunately, in our system, to be precise, in the Ghanaian educational system that I've observed over the years, sometimes has not really been helpful in this way, because it's more of instructional. Until the Montessori system and other systems cropped in. It has always been the instructor or the teacher or the facilitator comes in, 1 + 1 and equals to 2. Nobody questions what 1 + 1 is. And you are being fed, all the time. So you read from the textbooks and you're expected to memorize and bring back exactly what is there. You see, so that has been, so even in the art, people grow up like that. They come in like that. Oh, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to do the instructor tells me to do.
Has part of the challenge been that students are not used to that? That's, you come in and you're not giving them every instruction. You're not giving them this sort of top down, here's what you have to do, move your arm, move your foot.
That is,
You're telling them, like, how do you want to move?
yeah,
How will you tell your own story?
yeah.
Is that hard for the students to adapt to?
Yes, that has been the challenging aspect. But though
Mm-hmm.
challenging, I'm able to break that in the immediate. It doesn't really take 2 days to break that challenge, because I always let them believe in my approach. And, the funny thing is that is the approach they've been crying for, but nobody creates such an approach
Mm-hmm.
for them.
Yeah.
One
Ah.
one learner is more empowered when he's been given the opportunity to create something of his own and to own it. All right. Every child wants to do something of his own. The only thing they need is guidance and inspiration. So you go to certain places, whether in the church, in the school, or in the community, you kind of provide, okay, yes, I'm giving you A, B, C. Now I want you to add H to it. And then you find
Mm.
some of them making an attempt, and a chunk of them will just be there idle watching you because that has not been the culture. All right. Yes. So from there, they get to understand from me that, okay, this is how it can be. And they've been liberated, so I end up liberating them and it's been good. So the challenge doesn't stay for long. I'm able to break it by grace.
And then I wonder if there's any little like trickle of that into their other classes, if then they're longing for a little bit more freedom everywhere.
That is it. Freedom is, for me, the art means freedom
Mm-hmm.
because you are not placed in a box or in a dungeon. You are free to explore. The amazing thing is that I have been mentoring most students from the schools of the performing arts. I end up letting them know, go and figure out, dare unknown grounds. Dare. You need to dare unknown grounds. You need to break the rules. It is important before you break them.
Is there anyone that you'd want to thank or give a shout out to?
Wow, this is trouble.
I know, too many people.
Yeah, I'm going to try doing a general one, but I'm just so grateful to have received and to have been supported by all people all over the world. I just want to mention few names. I want to begin with my parents, Mr. Michael Adaletey and Mrs. Alice Abito Adaletey, my brothers Paul Patrick Adaletey, and my wife Antonia Ladisifu. I'm so grateful for the International Teaching Artists Collaborative. That's ITAC. I'm so happy about what Madeline Mikek has done for me over the years with Eric Booth, Jill Massey, with all the catalysts. Especially, I can't mention without putting the spotlight on Pat Cruz. I'm so happy for such an opportunity given unto me. And I'm grateful to my lecturers, my teachers, and all pastors and everyone who has been supportive with me. Not forgetting my organization, Bright Futures Foundation and Jolali Theatre House. I'm grateful. Thank you all so much. And Rebecca, I'm grateful to you for such a golden opportunity. I'm grateful to everyone. Both mentioned and silenced.
Yes, absolutely. And I know you just mentioned Bright Futures. Would you want to share a little bit more about the foundation and Bright Futures Drama Club?
Yeah, Bright Future Arts Foundation is an arts foundation I established in 1998. That is right after I completed my senior secondary school, education. So it's an arts education that the idea actually has been to empower students and artists in the communities. So it was actually an after school program and it's still. So what I do is to use that as a bait to attract students and any other person who has arts as a stronghold and to empower them. So I end up empowering them through the arts and other life skills. Yes, that's what I do. So we've been more into performing and working on drama projects. Dance, music, and what have you. Anything arts, that's what we do. So that's what Bright Future has been.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But it's been challenging for some years now. You need some funding as well. But the funding, though, is been challenging. Like I told you, we still keep moving. I'm just putting myself together to reorganize the fundamentals in the organization. We'll be on our feet soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's always the most challenging part.
Yeah.
Especially for artists, like we talked about, that you don't get much in the way of business like knowledge as an artist.
Yeah.
You have to figure it out on your own.
Exactly. But it's all good.
And is there anything else that we missed? Anything you wanted to touch on that we didn't get to talk about?
Yeah, I strongly believe that as an artist or as a teaching artist, it is important you get to understand your purpose in life. I mean, you don't follow the crowd. You don't waste your time following or engaging in vanity. I mean, you don't waste your time trying to be famous. People come around me, hey, Achu, I want you to help me. And I ask, help you, fine, I wouldn't deny. But why? What do you need? I want to be famous. I want to be like this on TV. I said that you are wasting your time. I don't have that time for like that. I believe that we exist to empower. I believe that we exist as teaching artists or artists to confront issues in the world, in our communities. You know, the most important thing that we exist to impact life. We exist to become solution makers, bring solutions, make people happy, make people smile, empower people. I mean, that is what keeps me on. So I believe that if there's anything this interview we really want to wrap up with is we artists and teaching artists exist to make positive impacts in the world. And that's it, nothing else. Anything else coming in like fame, money, properties, what have you, it's just a bonus. If they don't come, you can still leave. And that has been my life all this while. Yeah, so grateful.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that we exist to empower people and make positive change. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh, I did want to ask, where can listeners connect with you if they want to connect?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I use Peter Atsu Adaletey. And on YouTube, I use Atsu Adaletey. On Google, on Twitter, all those platforms. I mean, Atsu Adaletey, you surely get me. Anybody who hits the name Atsu Adaletey will surely find me. So it's easy to have.
Yeah.
On Google, any other.
Awesome.
But I'm not on all the social media platforms, no. I'm on IG.
It's too much.
It's too much. I'm just limited myself to. I'm more on Facebook. And
okay. Yeah, and I can link there too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm more on Facebook.
Great. So I'll include links and go connect. And yes, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your history, and all of the great advice and words of wisdom.
I'm grateful, Rebecca. Thank you so much for this. Means a lot to me.
Thank you so much for listening. As always, you can reach me at Teaching Artist Podcast on Instagram or teachingartistpodcast@gmail.com. Who do you want to hear from? Please share your recommendations of teaching artists. And if you loved this episode, please subscribe, leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow me. It really makes a big difference. Thank you.